We sit down with former top trade negotiator John Deng to talk about U.S. tariffs on Taiwan.
20% is a little bit high, and we hope we all, the society, business community, and the whole society wants to have a lower rate.
Heavy rain and floods continue to batter central and southern Taiwan. The government says it has a plan in the works to improve flood prevention. Nuclear power is getting the referendum treatment. Supporters and opponents make their cases heard. Plus, a summer camp about semiconductors in English. Industry leaders say Taiwan needs to look abroad to meet a looming talent shortage. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Leslie Liao. Opposition lawmakers are slamming the ruling party for the 20% tariff the United States imposed on Taiwan last week, saying bilateral talks with the U.S. lack transparency.
不确定性不要再拖延下去。可是我们现在发现，因为政府到目前为止还一直在讲说要继续谈判，而且不对外公开，神秘兮兮的。 一直在盖牌的状况下，这对整个产业的发展、对政府的因应、对全民的安定非常的不利。
The opposition also expressed concern that Taiwan could lose its edge in the U.S. market since neighboring countries like Japan and South Korea were only tariffed at 15%. A lead trade negotiator defended the government's decision to keep negotiations confidential, calling it standard practice.
那我们回过头来。 台美之间的这个保密协议，是由我国的驻美代表处以及 AIT 所签署。这一个要求呢，基本上是这个保密协定要求依照国际惯例。
Taiwan President Liao says the 20% tariff rate is only temporary, and his administration is working to negotiate a lower rate with the U.S. And to understand what to expect next in U.S.-Taiwan trade, our reporter Chris Gorin speaks to John Deng, Taiwan's former top trade negotiator.
I want to start with some recent news. Over the weekend, there was an interview with U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, in which he said that he doesn't expect the recently announced tariff rates to be reduced anytime soon. Now, it seems to be a little bit at odds with what Taiwan President Liao said, which is that the 20% tariff recently announced for Taiwan was only temporary and that it would be reduced soon once a new trade deal is announced. Do you think that this 20% tariff rate will go down in the near future?
I think this depends upon how much and what we can offer to the United States. One, whether we can open up our market. Second, how much investment you can put in United States. Third, how much deficit, trade surplus you have with the United States. Of course, from Taiwan's perspective, 20% is a little bit high. And we hope we all, the society, business community, and the whole society wants to have a lower rate. That's the goal.
Before you left government, as the trade representative for Taiwan, you actually led the negotiations on the U.S.-Taiwan Initiative on 21st Century Trade. And when these reciprocal tariffs were announced in April, actually there were ongoing negotiations for the second part of that agreement at that time, which included agricultural market access in Taiwan. And that raises the question, now that this new deal seems to be being negotiated to avoid reciprocal tariffs. What's going on with the Initiative for 21st Century Trade, and what's its relationship to this current deal?
I also observed that Trump administration pretty much already put this agreement aside. However, I'm not worried of that, since this agreement was signed by leaders of both countries, was approved by both Congress, by Taiwan Parliament, legislature, as well as by U.S. House and Senate. So this agreement is fully, has full force of an international agreement.
Obviously, these trade negotiations have been very stressful for Taiwan, and a lot of these tariff actions that the U.S. has taken has been through executive power. In other words, when there's a new U.S. president in 3.5 years, all of these tariffs could disappear on day one. All of these actions could be overturned. And I'm just wondering, how does all of this constant cycle of trade tensions affect the long-term relationship between Taiwan and the United States?
Trump, his approach looks like, I think, caused many dissatisfaction to foreign countries, including Taiwan. But we also noticed that he was elected by the United States. And the imbalance was very well seen. Everybody knows there are imbalances in the United States. As we just discussed, huge government deficit, huge trade deficit. Those need to be addressed. Even without President Trump, it's another president. They still have to face to correct this imbalance. So to Taiwan, it is very clear. I mean, to our advantage, we have to work with the United States. It's to our advantage. I often quote this traditional Chinese saying, as we may lose some battles, but we win the war.
And do you think Taiwan is winning the war?
Of course. See how our economy, see how much we export, see very low unemployment rate, see our national income. We win the war.
That was John Deng, Taiwan's former top trade negotiator. Taiwan is closing in on a deal to purchase nearly 6 million tons of liquefied natural gas from the U.S. state of Alaska, according to the state's governor.
We already have, and it's moving to an absolute solid offtake with Taiwan of 6 million tons of gas. Now, that 6 million tons from Taiwan is the largest offtake in LNG history in terms of sales and purchase from one outfit.
The gas would come from a new project to tap fossil fuels off Alaska's North Slope. Natural gas accounts for about half of Taiwan's energy mix. Word of the deal comes after the U.S. announced it will levy a 20% tariff on most Taiwanese goods. President Liao says that tariff negotiations are ongoing and Taipei is looking to secure a better deal from Washington. Later this month, the public will decide on one of the biggest political issues around, whether to extend the life of Taiwan's last nuclear power plant or whether to say goodbye to nuclear power for good. With just weeks left to sway the public, both sides of the issue are laying out their cases. John Van Triest reports.
Supporters of nuclear power gather on stage to rally public support ahead of an August 23rd referendum that could overturn years of energy policy. The ruling Democratic Progressive Party has gradually shut down the country's nuclear plants as part of its nuclear-free homeland policy. But here, members of the opposition Taiwan People's Party are trying to get voters to bring nuclear power back, at least partially.
非核家园让台湾的能源韧性变差，让台湾的产业竞争力变差，让台湾的民生用电的这个缴费负担变重，其实已经是违反科学理性跟落后于世界潮流。
On the ballot is whether to extend the life of the mothballed third nuclear power plant in the far south of the country. Among the arguments is strategic. China claims Taiwan and has threatened to take it by force, making any reliance on imported fossil fuels a risk.
不要核电之后，政府把我们未来的能源全部押宝在天然气上面，偏偏台湾又不产天然气。今天如果有外部的势力恶意的封锁我们台湾周边的海域， 天然气就没有办法提供。
This side hopes that if it wins over enough voters to pass the referendum, 2 reactors will be back online in around a year. But here, an environmentalist, a professor of public health, a former nuclear plant worker, and even a member of the same safety committee in charge of the plant in question have other thoughts. They say that after 40 years, the plant may be too old to safely keep running. There are financial concerns too, with one speaker saying the costly failure to extend the life of another plant is a lesson Taiwan should learn from.
它设计的基础就是40年，就好像我不管造一个汽车，造一个任何的一个工程啊，它设计基础几年，我就设计它几年的啊，所有的零组件都40年为我的标准。他突然说你要重启，而且还一口气要重启，要去延迟个20年，这是不可思议的事情。
They have drawn up a list of safety issues that date back to its opening in the early 1980s. It includes fires, workers' deaths, and radiation exposure, and pollution. And there's even skepticism about how trustworthy safety inspections are.
那有些人会说，没关系啊，反正我们这个安不安全就交给专家来判断，我们不了解，我们就完全信任专家。反正我们公投主文有说，通过整体安全评估才会重启。 但是我想要说的是，人为的安全评估事实上是没有办法做到100%的安全。
This won't be the last Taiwan's voters hear about the nuclear issue. The Central Election Committee is planning a series of 5 TV broadcasts to give both sides their say, with the first scheduled for Thursday. In a year of political battles, yet another one is about to go critical. Hank Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A village warden in Taiwan says she will fight a government decision to remove her from office after she failed to give up her Chinese citizenship. The village warden, named Deng Wanhua, was elected in Hualien County in eastern Taiwan in 2022. She moved to the country in the late 1990s after marrying a Taiwanese citizen and later received a national ID card. Taiwan's laws require elected officials to renounce any other foreign nationality before taking office. Deng told local media she was unable to give up her Chinese citizenship as China doesn't recognize Taiwanese nationality. South Korea is taking down loudspeakers along the border with North Korea.
우리 군은 오늘부터 대북 확성기 철거를 시작하였습니다. 이는 군의 대비 태세에 영향이 없는 범위 내에서 남북 간 긴장 완화에 도움이 되는 실질적인 조치를 시행하는 것입니다.
But North Korean officials rebuffed the move, saying they are not interested in talks with Seoul. The two Koreas agreed in 2018 to stop blasting propaganda at each other. Seoul restarted its broadcasts in 2024 after Pyongyang floated hundreds of trash and manure-filled air balloons across the border. Women and children in Gaza are bearing the brunt of the hunger crisis as food and aid supplies remain in short supply.
يعني هي 5 مرة أنا أروح على أساس أجيب كيستي فاضي، نفسي أروح لأولادي وكيستي ملانة.
Gaza residents say they are risking their lives searching for food every day. Households without adult men are seeing young children or widowed women forced to go into dangerous aid environments. The last few days alone has seen more than 100 killed. While some aid deliveries into the territory have resumed, international organizations say it is far short of what is needed. Coming up after the break, a sensory experience through Taiwan's geography, history, culture, and art in Osaka, Japan. We take you there. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm Inka Vat. Today we examine China's engagement in Africa.
Unfortunately, this very aggressive form of cultural revolution-like politics in China seems to be moving forward in this modern era.
This grave injustice is happening.
The issue is, what can the U.S. do to help strengthen Taiwan?
We need that kind of mindset to prepare for the warfare.
What implications does this have on Taiwan and the region as a whole?
Just like Ukraine right now, you need people to understand we're doing this for our own country.
Reaffirmed our support for the Taiwanese ability to make their own decisions about their own future.
It's very hard to duplicate in the short time. Taiwan still can continue being the leading position if we put efforts on R&D. energy.
And you are riding on a wave. This is exactly the time you need to double down.
Or I did not realize I am actually running to be the first Asian woman in the state senate. Our next generation, they can see Asian American is as equal and have the same platform.
Taiwan Talks provides a platform for the voices and perspectives that are shaping our country.
For more stories from Taiwan, around the world, and in front of a World War II era aircraft carrier, please download the TaiwanPlus app. It's bigger than it looks.
Start your weekend with a cup of coffee and a moment to reflect on what happened this week.
Hello and welcome.
We've got you covered, from defense and politics to high tech and the arts.
Not just to Taiwan, the whole world is watching.
You make the coffee,
we make the news.
Here's what happened on TaiwanPlus.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. There's help for residents in central and southern Taiwan as they continue to deal with flooding. Premier Zhuo Rongtai and local officials are there to oversee the recovery, and a government plan to strengthen flood prevention is in the works. Irene Lin reports.
Firefighters get a 60-year-old resident out of this collapsed house and rush her to the hospital after her home was destroyed after a tropical storm and a week of near nonstop rain in July. She's one of over 70 people injured in the aftermath of the recent storm front that tore through central and southern Taiwan. 4 people have died and 3 are missing due to accidents on flooded streets. Inside homes, yellow mud covers the floor and floodwater blocks entrances. Locals say the community is not new to floods.
因为这种落雨毛水嘛，表示就是溪内底就倒灌去来阮的室内迄个排水沟，造成淹水。所以这个问题因为有几届啊过啊，我嘛足清楚的。但是一直拢啊未想到改善的方式安尼。
Over 3,100 people threatened by landslides have been evacuated from their mountain homes near the southern city of Kaohsiung. Response crews say they've been making progress in cleaning up the roads in the past few days, but landslides kept happening. Local officials have been touring the most affected areas to oversee recovery and are working to get residents' demands heard in the central government.
排水的问题，那包括征讨来的怎么样让征讨的淹水，都会纳入到我们系统化的思考。那呈报中央争取经费，我们希望能够让我们嘉义县的抗洪能量越来越强。
Premier Zhuo Rongtai has visited Tainan and Kaohsiung to monitor repairs of public roads and private property. He says a government plan to upgrade Taiwan's drainage facilities is underway.
接下来这个礼拜，我们会通过未来4年的一个防水的大计划，以及丹纳斯台风的一些特别条例。我认为这个都是一方面因应现在大家看到的状况，也因应我们未来要整个更大幅度。 在历年治水工程之后，把这些源头、把这些末端工作再把它做好。
Central and southern regions are known for their traditional industries, such as screw manufacturing. As this area braces for more extreme weather in this typhoon season, scholars say more transparency about flood risk is needed for local industries.
从一些法令规范制度面，针对一些土地利用的限制也好，或者是引导也好去做。 比较容易发生淹水地区，这些风险要跟民众揭露。譬如说我们的工业区，或者民众单独设立一些高价值的工厂，尽量的不要在这些容易淹水的范围里面。
The Central Weather Administration predicts the rain will stop Wednesday. Some areas are already seeing floodwaters receding. So far, residents who have experienced heavy flooding in their homes may be eligible for subsidies up to $1,700. But with more rain inevitable, residents and officials want flood prevention plans in place before the next storm hits. Liao and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's cabinet may amend a special budget to exclude wealthy individuals from receiving about $300 in a government handout.
普发现金1万啊，不管你的精神是要来刺激消费或者是社会福利，那么都应该要排付。在过去的几次做法也都是有排付。
The cash handouts are part of a special budget the legislature passed in July for security and infrastructure and U.S. tariff relief. The inclusion of the handouts has been criticized by the cabinet, which says it may challenge the decision in the Constitutional Court. However, President Lai Ching-te signed the bill into law last week. Opposition lawmakers say they'll use money earmarked for national security for cash payments if the cabinet tries to block certain people from accessing it.
不用举债，同时也可以不用让民进党的绿油友们从中来赚钱，可以让百姓真正的拿到结结实实、踏踏实实的1万元现金。
President Lai has said the government aims to begin the handouts by the end of October. Taiwan is on the lookout for more tech talent to bolster its semiconductor industry. But with falling birth rates, it may have to look abroad. Tiffany Wong has more.
Uncovering the secrets of Taiwan's semiconductor power, this group of young foreign students have come to Taiwan to learn more about their chosen industry, straight from the source.
I think it's a pretty unique experience to gain some knowledge on the semiconductor industry. And being Taiwanese, I think it's pretty important to have that knowledge because semiconductor is such a huge part in the Taiwanese economy.
Good morning and welcome.
Held by Hsinchu's National Yangming Jiaotong University and U.S. chip designer Synopsys, this 4-day summer camp is meant to spark an interest in young overseas semiconductor talent. It comes at a time when Taiwan, facing a rapidly declining birth rate, is looking to bolster its leading industry with some help from foreign students.
So there's an urgent need, 非常重要的需求就是我们需要赶快把那个理工科的教育呢往下扎根。所以为什么我们想要在台湾呢做这件事情？一个是台湾的强项，一个是台湾所面临的困境，一起放在一起就很明显，我们就是要先做。
This is the first year the semiconductor camp was held in English, and it attracted students from 8 countries, including the U.S. and Singapore. Taiwan is hoping these foreign students can help keep the country at the top of the industry and maintain its key role in the supply chain.
现在因为有太多的半导体公司，它想要扩张，不管是在台湾或从国外进来的公司，他们都想要在台湾落脚。他们对于这种人才的需求是相当急迫的，也相当需要的。
For the students themselves, the camp was also a chance to learn about Taiwan and imagine a future where they could be a part of its semiconductor industry.
I feel like this camp taught me a lot of things. It brought me into really knowing the industry, including this lab. I think it led me through a lot of innovative techniques that Taiwan developed during the whole process of semiconductors.
As job opportunities in the semiconductor sector rise, Taiwan will continue looking for new talent at home and abroad. Chris Ma and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is putting its culture in the spotlight at a new exhibition in Osaka. Taiwan Spectrum runs alongside Japan's Expo 2025, and it's all about showing the world what Taiwan can do. Our reporter Sadie Chi was at the opening night and has this report.
This is Taiwan Spectrum, an exhibition in Osaka bringing visitors on a sensory journey through Taiwan's geography, history, culture, and contemporary art. The exhibition is part of We Taiwan, a cultural event being held alongside Expo 2025 in Osaka.
希望来让日本的社会看见，虽然我们在过去的历史上有一段重叠，但是你可以看到今天台湾已经完整的长出了自己的面貌。我们的多元，我们结合不同的文化的能力，跟开放包容的态度，才是今天的台湾。
It's the first time Taiwan's holding such an event in Japan, a major step in highlighting the country's soft power on the world stage. It follows the success at last year's Cultural Olympiad in Paris, where Taiwan made a strong impression. And in Japan, this very exhibition seeks to reveal the vibrant colors of Taiwan.
台湾光谱是这次为台湾一个很重要的以视觉艺术出发的一个展览。那台湾光谱是我们透过台湾人的手、眼睛 脚步去看到的台湾色彩，所以你会看到这种视觉艺术创造出来的绘画色彩、手染的色彩跟声音听到的色彩。那我们希望其实可以把台湾的多彩混融这样的特性呈现在这个展览当中。
The exhibition has 3 main themes: true color of Taiwan, light-woven nature, and island soundscape, telling the story of Taiwan's history, the interaction between nature and humans, and the sounds of everyday life in Taiwan. Almost 1,000 visitors attended the exhibition on opening day alone. Taiwan Spectrum will run through August 20th, giving visitors a few weeks to experience the true colors of Taiwan. Devontai, P. Strong, and Sanichi in Osaka for TaiwanPlus.
Stay tuned for more of our coverage from Osaka all this week. And thank you for watching Taiwan Plus News. You can visit the Taiwan Plus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we leave you with images of Ayla strolling in Nakanoshima, a performance that is also part of We Taiwan in Osaka. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.